Hello and welcome to How Can CrossFit Be Improved? I want to start doing more videos like this, and what better topic to kick it off with CrossFit. Everybody knows what CrossFit is. My mom knows what CrossFit is. Your mom knows what CrossFit is. My dad knows what CrossFit is. I don't know anybody else other than those three people, so let's get started. Hi, my name is Ben, and today we'll be talking about CrossFit, a hot topic to be sure, but first, a little about me. I am a recent graduate, like really recent, like as of last week, of James Madison University. I have my bachelor's in kinesiology with a concentration in exercise science. I have worked as a personal trainer for 2 years and a group fitness instructor for a year and a half now. I take interest in all things fitness, whether it be strength and conditioning, sports, working out for fun, or seeing how much weight I can move without removing my soul from my body. I also like to do Olympic weightlifting for team renaissance periodization and consider that to be a personality trait. The purpose of this video is to talk about how CrossFitters are learning to and are prescribed exercise and how these methods can be improved. CrossFit gets a lot of hate online and in various other fitness communities, no matter what. So I wanted to know what people think of it generally. I recently held a poll on my Instagram asking, what is your opinion on the CrossFit methodology to my own followers? Here are some of the responses. Too much focus on reps over form. Fun but dangerous. I'd agree there. I actually just want to follow up on this real quick. There is a inherent risk of injury that comes with any high impact activity, and CrossFit is no different than Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting. These all have a certain risk of injury, but things like technique, recovery, and other things like that do contribute to reducing the risk as much as possible for injury. Zach Tellender's CrossFit programming pitfall in full hand versus fingertips sums it up perfectly, I'd say. I highly recommend watching both of these videos, particularly CrossFit Programming Pitfall. Zach Tellender is a reputable source as well as a weightlifting coach, and his opinions on CrossFit are nearly identical to mine, except he is much more experienced than I am and well-spoken. Good for being average at everything, needs self-mental programming to improve at stuff. I love this response, particularly because of how essential it is to practice things in order to get better at them. You want to get better at performing the snatch? Be scrutinous of how you perform it and do it often. Want to get better at playing soccer? Play soccer. Want to get better at cooking? Start cooking more. That's kind of an oversimplification, but the essence of improvement lies within deliberate repetition. Deliberate repetition, not nonsensical repetition. Now, this can go both ways, like I was saying, not just going through the motions won't make you better at everything. In fact, it may solidify inefficient movement patterns, which can make life very difficult, and it can happen when you are focusing on quantity rather than quality of movement. CrossFit is in unique possession of the cure for the world's most vexing problem. A little bit of context for this response. The methodology encompasses more than just physical health. In short, in which I agree. This goes along with the next response being gives people the chance to do things they never thought were possible. I love that for my CrossFit pals. And to be honest, I don't care about the methodology, lol. It motivates people to move and restore confidence. Restores confidence, excuse me. CrossFit brings people together to get active. That is enough. That enough is something for me to get behind. However, as a practitioner, I always see improvements in implementing fitness programs, and CrossFit is no exception for improvement. My objective is not to change the community or the culture of CrossFit or around CrossFit, just improve the training itself. For most of this video, I'm going to be referring to the seminar led by former CEO and founder of CrossFit, Greg Glassman, titled The Purpose of CrossFit. In this video, it is stated that the initial goal of CrossFit was to develop a fitness program that was broad, general, and inclusive. Of course, a very general statement, obviously, but an intention that I can get behind. What is CrossFit? CrossFit is constantly varied, high-intensity, and functional movement for those who are unfamiliar, particularly focused on the variety and high-intensity part. CrossFit is a fixed workout pattern that becomes consistent. This is the essence of CrossFit workouts. Now, ultimately, I believe the problem originates from the definition of intensity in CrossFit. Glassman insists that power, force times distance divided by time, is a better indication of intensity when compared to heart rate. However, his examples of heart rate not being a great measure of intensity include astronauts on a space shuttle while it's launching, or NASCAR drivers who experience extreme heart rate increases during races. He says that is not intensity. In a way, he's correct in saying this. However, these specific examples of sympathetic being fight or flight nervous system responses are a result of stress hormones such as cortisol and catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline being released from the adrenal cortex. Stress hormones can cause an increase in heart rate independent of oxygen uptake by skeletal musculature, since there is no load placed on those muscular systems. This is very much different than experiencing an aerobic workout or even a strength workout. Sure, VO2 or volitional oxygen uptake will increase when stress hormones increase, but that is a different response than when exercising. During endurance exercise, energy production is provided using primarily aerobic metabolism, which requires oxygen. This is how our muscles keep contracting during prolonged exercise. To get more oxygen, uptake by musculature is increased relative to how heavy the oxygen demand is. Once oxygen demand is achieved, VO2 should no longer increase. We are at steady state. Now, utilizing heart rate as an intensity estimate during exercise is far better than using power because it is relative. Specifically, it is relative to the exerciser, relative to the individual who is performing exercise. You can have two people, one who's cross-trained, let's say it's American football running back Derrick Henry, and the other is completely untrained, let's say it's Danny DeVito. If you tell them both to move the same load, the same distance, at the same rate, using that power equation, which is, remember, force times distance divided by the time, if we use that method, every time, almost every single time, the Derrick Henry will almost always be at a lower exertion level compared to the Danny DeVito. But Ben, what if we just decrease the load on the untrained individual to make their intensity level more balanced? This is what CrossFit currently does by use of the beginner, intermediate, and advanced systems, which are indicated on their actual site when they post the workouts. This works to a certain level. However, you cannot track that over time to know that you are getting appropriate recovery, or even better yet, how do you know if you have improved your skill and work capacity enough to advance to the intermediate or the advanced levels? I can lift it, bro, trust me. Is just not quite sufficient enough. You need to track your progress over time to know that, but that is still only part of the equation. Now, heart rate as an intensity gauge is not a be-all, end-all. This specifically regards aerobic activity, cardio exercise. CrossFit is much more than just aerobic exercise. Instead of using just heart rate, I believe that CrossFit can be improved by implementing RPE, or ratings of perceived exertion, into every single workout. This can be used for cardio workouts, for strength workouts. For those of you who are unfamiliar, RPE is a scale. For this specific example, we will use the Borg CR10 scale, which goes from 1 to 10 to predict intensity based on how hard an individual is exerting themselves relative to their maximal level. A 1 on the scale is nearly no effort at all, or resting, whereas a 10 is maximal exertion, or the point of failure. Based on this scale, you can prescribe intensity level to every individual, and with week-by-week tracking, measure improvements or failure accurately. Now let's put this into a practical example. Here's the workout of the day for the day, here's the workout of the day for the day that I am writing this. Yeah. So 15, 12, 9 reps per time, thrusters, weighted pull-ups. Here's the advanced workout, 95-pound thrusters for females. 30-pound pull-ups, and for males it is 135-pound thrusters with 45-pound pull-ups. Okay, cool. You have scaling options, intermediate options, you have the beginner options. Still pretty cool. Let me just first say that the day-to-day scaling options have improved immensely over the last year even. That this method of scaling is good, but it can be better. CrossFit is defined as high intensity among functionality and variety, remember. You can only perform functional movements for so long at maximal intensities. You cannot be at RPE 8, 9, 10, or high intensity for every single workout. You can't max out every day, bro. You just can't do it. You just can't. This is simply too much stress on the system, and it doesn't allow for recovery, the basis for improvement, to actually take effect. Now for this workout, put together the sets and reps to calculate volume. 3 sets of 15, then 12, then 9 reps. Add those together, multiply by 2 since there are 2 exercises per every set, gives us 72, which is a relatively high volume. Since these are strength movements under load, we must preserve energy to move the exact same way every single rep, whether it's the beginning of the workout or it's the end of the workout. We must preserve our ability to perform compound movements safely and effectively. If I were telling my client to do this workout, I would tell them to aim for RPE 6 to 7, which is around 60% to 70% of the maximal weight that they can do. Sure, this workout can be made for RPE 10, but here's my explanation. I used to work in the fast food business, and the biggest problem in that industry is exactly what goes wrong in CrossFit. People want top-tier quality food as fast as possible, so employees are pushed to make food faster and faster. As the quantity of food production goes up, the quality may suffer as a result of poor attention to detail. The same issues permeate CrossFit. The faster you perform movements, especially ones with heavy weights, the less attention to detail or technique proficiency there will be. Poor techniques will almost always have detriments to force production and segment recruitment. Say the ankles, knees, and hips engaging both properly and at the right times during the squat and so forth. Say in the deadlift, if my hips rise too fast in the pulling phase, all of my leg drive will disappear, thus increasing the load on my upper body, specifically my spine. That's where you start to see that rounding of the lower back. This means poor technique, decreased quality assurance. This is a fantastic example of the inverse relationship between volume being sets, reps, duration of exercise, and intensity being load, percent maximal exertion, percent VO2 max, so on and so forth. As you increase the volume, intensity must decrease proportionally in most cases. Now here's the kicker. In order to use RPE, you must know exactly what it feels like to max out. You must know what it feels like to hit maximal intensities in order to make that relative estimate. You must know your own limits so that you can identify exactly what it feels like to max out. Not saying that high intensity should not be used in CrossFit. In fact, I'm saying the complete opposite. High intensity should be used in CrossFit relatively frequently. Say if a participant is doing this workout with just the bar, 45 pounds, male bar, and modified pull-ups. They say, oh, this is easy cheesy. I'm barely exerting myself. Bump up the acute variables within the workout. Maybe that's the load on the thrusters. Maybe you're throwing on 10-pound weights to each side. Maybe you are progressing to full pull-ups. Whatever it may be, mark it down and enjoy that improvement and the success. If this system is utilized, an RPE 9 to 10 is designed by CrossFit coaches to be hit for 1 to 2 weeks, every 3 to 6 weeks, then I believe that CrossFitters will experience more growth while still preserving that community aspect. I would really love to see how undulating periodization or polarized endurance training models could potentially improve workout programming further in CrossFit, specifically because the variety of the training focuses with that. So if you'd like to see that a little more in depth on how I might change certain CrossFit programmings, let me know and give me your general thoughts on CrossFit down in the comments. If I got anything wrong, please also feel free to call me out. I definitely love to see when people are actually thinking about the content and really questioning me in what I'm providing to you. I'm going to give you guys much more content in the future through Olympic weightlifting videos, more videos like this, vlogs, collaborations with other creators, or cat videos, videos of me eating, videos of you eating. I don't want to see that, actually. It's disgusting. I actually don't like watching myself eat. Monkey videos, maybe a few outdoor videos. Thank you all so much for watching. For more content, please feel free to like and subscribe. It is much appreciated. My cat will love you. I probably won't love you because I don't know who you are. See you later.